Hello to everyone. I am Professor Raja, working as Assistant Professor EC Department, SNS College of Technology, an autonomous institution Coimbatore. In this YouTube video, I am going to discuss about the quality attributes of embedded system. If you watch my previous YouTube video, I can discuss what are the important quality attributes of embedded system, that is operational and non-operational quality attributes. In this operational, I already discussed the response, throughput, reliability and maintainability. Now I can discuss the remaining thing, that is security and safety. Now let's move on. Security, confidentiality, integrity and availability. The term availability mentioned here is not related to availability. That is, it means that is we can create a confidentiality, integrity and availability. Confidentiality deals with the protection of data and application from authorized disclosure. That is, we can make a security of whatever we can deal. For example, if we keep any mobile data inside our mobile, that should be a secured one. Integrity deals with the protection of data and application from unauthorized modification. Availability deals with protection of data and application from unauthorized users. A very good example for the security experts in an embedded product is a personal digital assistant. The personal digital assistant can be either a shared resources or an individual one. If it is a shared one, there should be some mechanism in the form of username and password to access into a particular person's profile. This is an example of availability. That is, if you want to make any ticket booking in Book My Show or any reservation, first they ask our identity, that is username and password. The very good example is IRCTC ticket booking. Also, all data and application present in the PDA need not be accessible to all users. Some of them are specifically accessible to administrators only. For achieving this, the administrator and user levels of security should be implemented. That's the example of confidentiality. Some data present in the PDA may be visible to all users, but there not be visible permissions to alter the data by the users. That is, read-only access is allocated. This is called integrity. That is, the access is given only to one user. The last one and the important one is the safety. Safety and security are the two confusing terms. Sometimes you may feel both them as a single attribute, but they represent two unique aspects in quality attributes. Safety deals with the possible damages that can happen to the operators, public and the environment due to the breakdown of an embedded system or due to the emission of radioactive or hazardous material from the embedded products. The breakdown of an embedded system may occur due to a hardware failure or a firmware failure. That is, it can be either a software or a hardware product. Safety analysis is must in product engineering to evaluate the anticipated damages and determine the best course of action to bring down the consequences of the damages to an acceptable level. As stated before, some of the safety threats are sudden, like product breakdown, or some of them hazardous emission from the product. Next, we can go to see the non-operational quality attributes. The quality attributes that need not be addressed for the product, not on the basis of operational aspects, are grouped under this category. The important quality attributes coming under this category are listed as testability and debuggability, availability, portability, time to prototype and market, per unit and total cost. So this is the non-operational quality attributes. We see one by one. Testability deals with how easily one can test his or design application, and by which means he or she can test it. For an embedded product, testability is applicable to both embedded hardware and software-based firmware. The embedded hardware testing ensures that the peripherals and the total hardware functions with the desired manner, whereas firmware testing ensures the firmware is functional as our expected way. That is, before going to launch any product, we must test how the products are working. Debuggability, it is a means of debugging the product as such for figuring out the probable sources that create unexpected behavior in the total system. Debuggability has two aspects in the embedded system development context, namely hardware level debugging and software or firmware level debugging. Hardware debugging is used for figuring out the issues created by hardware problems, whereas firmware debugging is employed to figure out the probable errors that appears as the result of flaws in the firmware. Evolvability. Evolvability is a term which is closely related to biology, that it refers as the non-heritable variations. For an embedded system, the quality attribute evolvability refers to ease with the embedded product that can be modified to take a new firmware or hardware technologies. Portability. A portability is a measure of system independence, that is, an embedded product is said to be portable if the product is capable of functioning as such in various environments, target processors or controllers, and embedded operating system. The ease which an embedded product can be ported onto a new platform is a direct measure of the rework record. A standard embedded product should always be flexible and portable. In embedded products, the term porting represents migration of the embedded firmware written for one target processor. That is, for doing one processor work, we can make as much as well. If the firmware is written in a high-level language like C with little target processor specific functions, it is very easy to port the firmware for the new processor by replacing those target processor specific function with the ones for the new target processor. So recompiling also easy in this portability. So in this YouTube video, I discussed the quality attributes and the non-quality attributes of the embedded system. Next YouTube video, I will continue the remaining part of this non-operation quality attributes, that is the time to prototype and market and per unit and total cost. Thank you for watching my video.